CNR Extra here on CCTV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5, Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Ni Latte. Coming up, Ghana Education Service shuts down Binduri Community Day Senior High School amid student protest over food shortage.
I don't understand why it is only one school in our district and then they cannot provide food for us. Please, this one, it is monumental disgrace. Take control of this one. We don't know what we are doing.
Minority in Parliament calls for urgent reopening of Binduri Community Day Senior High School amidst food crisis.
It will affect the students. So what I expect the Minister of Education to do is immediately find out what he can do, or he should do something immediately about the situation. Probably engage the caterer and see what promises he can make to her and how soon he can pay the caterer to enable her continue serving the students.
National House of Chiefs condemns LGBTQI+ activities and mobilizes opposition across traditional areas.
LGBTQ+ is evil. We, the chiefs of Ghana, have been inundated by calls from our people to make an open declaration concerning the threat by LGBTQ.
And still to come on CNR Extra, President Akufo-Addo pays tribute to late author Ama Ata Edu as literary icon in state burial service.
Like many, had heard about and saw. Community of Writers has lost one of its greatest members, one who will be extremely difficult to replace.
Once again, you're welcome to CNR Extra here on CCTV. You can join us via our YouTube page, that is CCTV, where we are streaming live. And also, you can submit your suggestions, your submissions and your comments via our WhatsApp line as well, 0204447033. Jude Mensa Dankania, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my brother?
Thank you so much, Philip. Always a pleasure to be here.
It's a Friday.
And there's already a burst of energy, and I'm really looking forward to the weekend.
There is energy, but the energy is not happening in the Binduri Senior High School, where the school has been shut down following some issues with food shortage. Let's bring you that insight.
Down the Binduri Community Day Senior High School in the Upper East region following protests by students over lack of food. City News has learned the caterer stopped cooking for the school over non-payment of arrears owed her by the government. City News checks reveals that since May 29, 2023, the caterer stationed in the school has not been able to cook for the students. City News' Christopher Kevin Asima has more in the following report, read by City News' Anne Shirley Ziwu.
With a population of about 600 students, the Binduri Community Day Senior High School in the Upper East region has been closed down and expected to be reopened on Monday, July 17, 2023. This was communicated to the students and school authorities by the District Director of Education in his visits to the school, following some agitations by students who boycotted classes to protest and express their displeasure about the inability of the school's administration to provide them with the one hot meal daily for some time now. Students who spoke to City News said they were even compelled to eat the same menu for a whole week before the caterer stopped cooking. As a result, some of the students abandoned classes with the reason that they could not come to school to study on an empty stomach.
I don't understand why it is only one school in our district and then they cannot provide food for us. Please, this one, it is monumental disgrace. take control of this one. We don't know what we are doing. You get inside the class. Master is teaching. Nothing is entering. From 7:30 up to 3:30. This one, we don't even know how we are going to describe it.
The reason why we are outside here but not in classes, our school, they have stopped cooking for us. They stopped cooking for us. That was 29th May. Up to date, they haven't started cooking for us. And we have sent it to the authorities, but there is no feedback. That's the reason why we are out here, but not in class. And since we came to this school, there is nothing like house vest. We don't know the reason why they are not giving us house vest. When we go out, we don't look like our colleagues. We don't know the reason why they are not giving us house vest. And secondly, our uniform. Since we came to this school, when you come to Bindusek, you have to get to Form 2 before you now get classes wear. We don't know why it is like that. And we don't have this is Friday wear. We are using our outing as Friday wear. So must we use outing as Friday wear? And when we are going home, we should wear that one. They are supposed to give us 2, but it is 1. We don't know the reason why it is 1, but not 2. We don't have exercise. The government told us that you provide us exercise. But since we came, it's 1 notebook. It's 5 exercise. We don't understand why it's 1.
My concern is that since we came here, we are no more needles again. We want our uniform, no toilet for us. Anytime we want to go to toilet, we always go to the bush. Whatever if something happens to us, what would they say? But if there is no uniform,
Speaking during the protest against the happenings in the school, some of the students said they had been denied food for more than a month now.
I've meant to come and to provide food for us because the caterers, even if they are calling them, they are not answering our calls. You call them up to 10 missed calls, nobody will answer you.
I'm pleading on the government and the DC for this district that they should provide us our food. They should cook for us and provide us our food and our house benefits.
I want to stand on behalf of the students and talk as that we come to this school. We never see anyone like MPDC and district as all of them. They are here. Even we have heard that they went to Maka. Up to now, we didn't see them. And we have to stand today and tell if we didn't get our house first food, we are going to stop school. We need dormitories.
The Binduri District Director of Education, Mr. John Gagui Soka, said although the protest was intended to register their concerns, it was important for them to calm down as it would be addressed.
We are compelled, if you want to continue this way, to ask that you go home because the caterer has informed me that she's organizing to come and start cooking on Monday. If you can, yes, but okay, well, please listen. You are saying that it is not only the food. So are you ready to go back to school? Then we can sit around the table, discuss the issues concerned, and begin to address them. All right. We would, if that is the case, we would have to advise ourselves to request that you stay in your homes until we are able to address your issues for you to come back. Yes, you are here in your own interest to develop yourself academically. So if you are ready to go in for us to have classes, that will be very fine with us. But if not, we are deciding that you go home and then you hear from us. Yes, you hear from us when the caterer resumes, where we are sure you will have your hot meal every day, then we will invite you back. Meanwhile, during that period, we will be meeting with the management of the school to see how we address the other issues.
Meanwhile, final year students are currently in school writing their mock examination in preparation towards this year's West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination, WASSCE.
So that's what happened in the Binduri Senior High School. That is a day school. Join us via phone as the Director of Education at Binduri, John Gagui Soka. Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
First of all, I want to find out when exactly did you shut down this institution?
Please, can you come again?
I want to find out from you the day you shut down the Binduri Senior High School, which is a day school.
That was on Tuesday, the 11th of July,
So,
2023.
so Tuesday, you shut down this institution. What has been the engagement with the caterers or probably the individuals who are supposed to help address this issue that is in the institution before reopening the school?
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you all. Good morning to your listeners and viewers. A lot has been done, and I'm happy to announce that the caterer has returned to duty. And as I speak, I'm in the school, and food is ready. The students are about to serve their hot lunch.
So from what you are saying there, the students are back in the institution. Is this something that is an interim decision or solution to this problem, or it's a lasting solution to this particular problem?
Well, it will be difficult for me to conclude that it's a lasting solution because for now, the areas that the caterer was owed, I'm told she has been paid. And for now, until there is perhaps another inability to pay her, maybe in the future, I may not know. But for now, she has been settled, and cooking for the students is going to continue.
So for now, you can tell us that that has been addressed and the caterer is back in the school and the students are back. But the students also raised concerns about Friday wear, exercise books, toilet facilities, amongst others, in the institution. How did you receive this news from the students?
Well, those issues were genuine issues raised by the students, and the school management is aware of them and has been into addressing them. For example, with the issue of the toilet, the matter has been taken up at the highest level, and we're expecting that very soon this facility should be handed over to the school for the students to use. Regarding the school uniform and other things, those ones depend on supplies to the school. If the school doesn't receive them, it becomes difficult for the students to have them. And so the headmaster has been talking with the suppliers, and they also have their concerns for which they are not able to supply the books and then the uniforms.
So,
I think it all boils down to the fact that they are also being owed.
So you don't know how soon. You don't know how soon that issue also will be resolved for the students to get what is due them, i.e., the Friday wear and other essentials that they are demanding.
Well, yes, I can say we may not know, but according to the school management, they have in stock the PE kit, only that it is in inadequate quantity for all the students. So we have taken a decision to distribute them to the students as from Monday, according to a certain plan that we have adopted.
Sir, before I let you go, I want to find out from you, do you have any idea how much the caterer is being owed and how much has been paid so far?
I don't have that information, but I don't really have that information. But I'm told she is not the one who actually told me this, but I understand it's in the range of about 70,000 Ghana cedis. I don't know. I cannot confirm that for now.
And we understand an MP made a donation to this effect. Is it the MP that made the payment or government?
No, I believe it's the government that has made the payment. What the MP has done is to donate some rice. He has donated 25 bags of rice to the school for the caterer to use to cook for them.
Rightly so. Going forward, what is your outfit doing together with other stakeholders to ensure that such a thing does not happen in the Binduri Senior High School again?
Yesterday, we held a management meeting to look into the concerns that have been raised, and actually, the head of the school is on transfer. So we're expecting the new head to be back to take over very soon. And when he takes over, we will continue with the process to ensure that such a thing never happens again in the school.
Sir, we are grateful for your time, and we are most grateful for joining us here on CNR Extra to give us updates of what is happening in the school.
So thank you very much, and I want to use this opportunity to also appeal to parents of of students of this school who are probably listening to you now or viewing television to allow their children to return to school.
Rightly so. They will definitely hear and see and report to school. So there you saw, or the interview that we interviewed the Director of Education at Binduri, John Soka, who spoke to us that, well, the institution has been reopened and that they've tried to address all the concerns raised by the students, and they are expecting them to be in school.
I mean, food is definitely the trigger to what we saw in Binduri Secondary School. But I mean, if you listen to the students during their protest, you clearly can tell that it goes beyond the provision of the hot meal a day, and for which reason they are out of their classroom protesting. I mean, you had issues like uniforms, like textbooks, like a hygienic proper place as a restroom. These are the real challenges the students are facing. And Philip, I mean, the truth of the matter is that if you go to other secondary schools, it may not be the same problem, but on a certain level, some of these issues are still persistent in schools, right? Not too long ago, we had Angel Kabonu on this particular station on the Point of View show talk about the fact that even in some Category A schools, issues of feeding have become a problem. And in all of this, for me, it appears that this is truly the scorecard of government's free SHS intervention. Because, I mean, if I cast my mind back when I was in senior high school, for instance, I mean, the day students, they were not entitled to any meal because it was being paid for by boarders. For which reason we didn't hear, or for the life of me or for my time in secondary school, I don't recall any moment prior to free SHS where these students were protesting or saying that they demanded some meals. So clearly, free SHS and its introduction has brought some pressure on our educational system, and these are the ripple effects. So when the minister goes out to say that the WASI result is testament to the fact that the free SHS is working and does not need any review of a sort, I want to put it to the minister that this is truly the scorecard of the free SHS, and it's about time we begin conversations on looking at how we can fine-tune. If review is not what government wants to do, at least I believe we can look at these challenges and these results. It's unfortunate that Binduri has come into the public notice quite recently on issues of anthrax and now this. And we've heard that some intervention has already happened. The Director of Education has assured that everything has been put in place. But at the end of the day, my concern is that this goes way beyond the provision of food. It's about real challenges students are facing in school, which is not helping their studies. They talk about textbooks, they talk about uniforms, they talk about proper places of studies. And I think this is what the Ministry of Education should be actively trying to address.
Before the reopening of the institution, the minority in Parliament suggested that all the issues should be addressed immediately so that the school will be reopened. Let's bring you that insert.
The minority in Parliament is urging the Minister of Education to take steps at ensuring that the Binduri Community Day Senior High School is reopened for academic works as soon as possible. The closure of the school stems from the inability to provide meals for the students since May 29, 2023, thereby impacting negatively on academic activities, attendance, and overall school functioning. The following report has more details.
The Minority Caucus on Wednesday requested Parliament to probe a secret tape which revealed an alleged plot by the government to remove the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare, from office as part of efforts to rig the 2024 general elections. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, on Thursday proposed the setting up of a 7-member special committee to investigate the leaked tape.
We need some of you who are very good in IT and other areas to submit your talents and skills to the committee for this work to be done. So I propose that we establish a committee of 7 members. 7 members. Is that okay? 7 members. Leadership will nominate 3 from each side of the House, and we'll get a technical person to add to make it 7. That's why I'm calling it a special committee, so that you investigate this matter and then submit your report. So I await the nominees from the 2 caucuses, 3 each, and then a technical person will also be nominated to assist the committee in its investigation and report to the House. As will direct. Leadership, please, within 1 week, we should get the names submitted. Because I know you have to meet your caucuses and make some consultation within 1 week.
Parliament on Thursday debated on the Criminal Offences Amendment Act, which seeks to replace death penalty with life sentence. Now, during the debate on this amendment, members of Parliament expressed varied opinions about the abolishment of death penalty.
Various efforts, including stakeholders, death penalty, UK, Amnesty International, other stakeholders and CSOs have been calling for the need to abolish death penalty. Mr. Speaker, in these engagements, we have had several consensus. For example, a political consensus. A political consensus because the then administration of the NDC began this process, and as soon as this bill was laid in Parliament, the current government, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, also has openly endorsed the position of the bill. And this year, the President voted at the UN in favor of the resolution to end the use of death penalty. Mr. Speaker, apart from the political consensus, we also have religious consensus, because the Christian Council and all the other religious actors have also given position on this that suggests that there was a need for Ghana to move away from the use of the mandatory death penalty. Mr. Speaker, we also have judiciary consensus. This is a lopsided argument. It has no weight. It has no meaning. And they did not balance the argument with the trauma. Look, how are murders committed in this country? Some of them. It's unfortunate that some of our colleagues are not here, who have lost their loved ones through murder. 2 a.m., an intruder comes into my house. He climbs a ladder. He goes to look for a ladder, then comes into my house. Climbs up, breaks open my door and window, then kills me. Or if before then, he would have raped my wife, my partner lying with me. While I'm looking at it, he's raping my wife. Then, as if that is not enough, he takes my life. And he kills me. Then this man has human rights. He has a human right. I have no human right. He should come and take my life within 30 minutes. He has truncated me to the next one. I have no right. And he has a right to live. What right? What right, Mr. Speaker?
Definitely we need to leave this so that it will be a deterrent to others. Speaker, both Muslims and Christians, we all believe in the eye for an eye. But in certain instances, where you will see that, or you are very much aware that if I kill somebody, I will still be alive. People end up ending people's lives or shortening people's life with an excuse that if I end your life, I wouldn't be killed. I think that for the fact that no president or for a while, we have not been able to execute anybody, we should still leave this in our books. We should leave it because it will serve as a deterrent to others. We should leave it because society has responsibility to look, or an obligation to look after the welfare of its citizens.
After extensive consultation, the committee is of the view that continuous retention of the death penalty in the criminal statute makes a mockery of justice, and the mere fact that for almost 3 decades, presidents of the Republic have found it unnecessary to sign execution warrants is an indication that Ghana does not need the law.
In an interaction with City News, the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, Peter Nochu-Kotoi, urged the Education Minister to take steps at ensuring the reopening of the Binduri Community Day Senior High School as soon as possible.
It will affect the students. So what I expect the Minister of Education to do is immediately find out what he can do, or he should do something immediately about the situation. Probably engage the caterer and see what promises he can make to her, and how soon he can pay the caterer to enable her continue serving the students.
Reporting from Parliament, my name is Ni Ayikwe Okain for City News.
I'm sure the Minister of Education had the views of Peter Nochu-Kotoi, who is the ranking member on the Education Committee of Parliament, and certainly the Binduri Day Senior High School has been reopened. But I think going forward, something has to be done about it. Amongst the number of issues that were discussed in Parliament, the issue of the Dampare leak tape also came out, where Parliament, or the Speaker of Parliament has directed that a 7-member committee should be set to investigate this issue, and a week has been given for names to be submitted who are going to be part of this particular committee for work to commence.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, when the leaked tape came into the public domain, it was quite disturbing for me. Disturbing in the sense that it's not even about what was or the person involved, but the end result of it, right? So if they say they are scheming to remove the IGP, Dr. George Okufu Dampare, I mean, people will scheme against people any day, anytime.
Anytime. It happens. Almost everywhere.
As I said, you don't know the plan some people have for you, right? So people will scheme against people, but it has to be taken seriously when the end goal of it is known. And in this instance, being the fact that free and fair elections was going to be, I mean, tempered with. And for me, I think it's expedient that Parliament takes it up very seriously. When the leak tape came out, the Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, came out quite strongly to make it clear that
there wouldn't be any issue of tempering over the elections.
I mean, he sort of tried to calm the fears of a lot of the public who were not too happy with it. But I think it's not enough. I think the Ministry of Interior and Government should take it up very expediently to make sure that this is nipped in the bud. I mean, if you follow the recent by-elections we've had in this country and how the police came at the forefront of it and acted very professionally as compared to previous by-elections, right? So when you witness Ayawaso West Wugon by-elections, for instance, the mess that happened there with regards to security and all of the things, and you compare to what we saw in Assin North, you get the impression that the IGP means business and is working to sanitize the political landscape when it comes to elections and stuff like this. Reason why some of these leak tapes will come. But I think it's in order the committee set up by the Speaker to investigate this. It's easy to brush it aside and say what has happened to past committees set up to probe government and, for instance, the COVID-19 probe. I mean, what became of it, right? But this one threatens our very democracy as a people, right? So I think it's expedient. I hope that it will be done in a very non-partisan way, because at the end of the day, it's about the progress of this country, right, and the peace and tranquility of this country. So I hope the parliament or the committee is able to come up with some really good job on this and get to the logical conclusion of it.
You're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV, still to come. 2 passengers in critical condition while 55 others sustained minor injuries after 3 vehicles were involved in an accident at Gomwa Ochiroko Junction in the central region. And stay with us, we'll back with more stories.
It's going to be a celebration of teamwork. Swimming is not just an individual sport, it's also about camaraderie and support for your fellow swimmers. For City TV.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's bring you some more stories. And the National House of Chiefs has condemned LGBTQI plus activities and is mobilizing opposition across traditional areas.
National House of Chiefs has described LGBTQ plus activities as evil and abominable and declared a strong opposition to such acts. Now, members of the House of Chiefs are courting support from subjects in their respective traditional areas to oppose LGBTQ plus activities in any form. City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
Parliament recently adopted a motion for the passage of the anti-LGBTQ bill into law after it received support of all 275 members of the House. Even before proponents of the bill laid it before Parliament, there was a strong opposition from religious and interest groups who insist LGBTQ plus acts have no place in the Ghanaian society. The chiefs, who are custodians of the land, are adding their voices to the subject matter, and members have unanimously opposed the act. President of the National House of Chiefs, Ojiaho Yao JB II, speaking at a meeting in Kumasi, insists traditional rulers will continue to oppose such acts to uphold the country's traditions and culture.
LGBTQ plus is evil. We, the chiefs of Ghana, have been inundated by calls from our people to make an open declaration concerning the threat by LGBTQ. We, the chiefs, as the custodians of culture, the customs and traditions of our people, wish to state categorically that our traditions and customs recognize that our Creator, God, or Allah, and called variously by different religions, created man and woman to occupy the earth and procreate. There is therefore only male and female gender and no other gender. The Christians' holy book, the Bible, Muslims' Quran, and our traditions and customs affirm these facts. It is therefore an abomination and against all our cultural values as Ghanaians to allow others to import into our country anything contrary to the above values that we cherish or we have cherished over the centuries.
Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister Stephen Asamoah Boateng says LGBTQ+ is alien to the country's values and will not be accepted.
It's alien to us. Nana, you said it rightly, and I'm opposed to it myself. I've said so on countless occasions. And I can tell you, Nananum, our religious leaders are also opposed to it. So we do everything to protect our tradition and make sure we don't buy into any tradition that is alien.
The president of the House of Chiefs also attributed the widespread destruction of the environment by illegal miners to the lack of political will by the government to stop the menace.
There is always a surge in Galamsey activities during election years. And I'm happy our minister is here. During election years, both the government in power and the opposition look unconcerned. During election years, as governments, both current and past, do not demonstrate enough political will to deal decisively with the menace during election periods. The fight against Galamsey must be inclusive and intensified.
Ojiaho Yao Jebide II, touching on the IMF deal, called on the government to ensure the program is not detrimental to local businesses.
We are pleading with government to implement the program and its conditionalities in a manner that creates better conditions for businesses and the vulnerable people living on the margins of society so they can thrive and blossom.
The House of Chiefs also called on political parties to engage in a decent campaign ahead of the 2024 general elections.
So the National House of Chiefs, they have spoken on the LGBTQI plus activities. The bill, which is in Parliament, has moved to the consideration stage, after which it will go through the third reading before it will be passed into law. So it recently went through the second reading stage.
I mean, you can understand why the National House of Chiefs and some other Christian groups we've seen in the past would have a similar line of argument on this very, very contended subject of LGBTQ plus. I mean, my only concern is that in showing disapproval of some of the activities of the LGBTQ, the conversation is very nuanced in a way that it doesn't lead to widespread abuses and human rights violations of people who are in support of it, right? It's very important. And the kind of commentary and wording used in showing some level of disaffection or disapproval of activities of people engaged in it should be such that the rights of people who subscribe to it or who are part of the community are protected. But I mean, let the debates go on in Parliament, right? And let's see how this pans out in the coming weeks and in the coming months.
Rightly so. Let's move away from this story. And the family members of the late Victoria Dapa, also known as Majwa, has expressed its disappointment at the adjournment of the case in court.
So Victoria Dapa, who was allegedly murdered by her police inspector boyfriend, Ahmed Chumesi, have expressed disappointment following the adjournment of the case during the first day of trial at the High Court in Kumasi. The case was adjourned to July 26, 2023, after the suspect told the court his lawyers were not available. Ashanti Regional Correspondent Fatia Aminu Ibrahim reports.
26-year-old Victoria Dapa, also known as Majwa, was allegedly murdered in cold blood on 20th April 2023 in the night at Edum, few meters away from her house. Her boyfriend, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who some eyewitnesses alleged was the culprit, was subsequently arrested by the police. The family of the deceased says it has since been a difficult period for them. The committal process started at the Asquarimampon District Court, where the premises was always charged as a result of the interest many people have generated in the case, with some family members of the deceased causing commotion at the court's premises on some occasions and attempting to attack the suspect, thereby prompting the police to call for reinforcement. The generated interest in the matter kept growing. The accused on the first hearing certainly admitted to killing the deceased, but said it was not his intention to kill his lover. But after making a U-turn and telling the court that he is not guilty, this surely paved the way for the trial itself, as the case was transferred from the Asukariman District Court to the High Court. There was high anticipation, particularly among the deceased family members who were hoping to see the case starting at the High Court on a high note. Their high hopes appeared to be dashed when the case was adjourned within a short period. The matter was adjourned because the accused told the court that his lawyers were not available when asked about their whereabouts by the presiding judge. This thus compelled the court to adjourn the case to 26 July 2023. The family of the deceased is worried that the manner in which the trial was adjourned could delay the proceedings, which could ultimately delay the justice they are seeking for if the trend continues. Speaking to City News after the court proceedings, the family expressed worry at the way the trial has started. Nana Aduberima is the head of the family.
You call court now, no, Omoka say, you this today and 13th. The 13th, no, almost a nundu. Me, I was your penny, we drew her and son on our table, and son a court quani be. You better say, I did almost in nundu no. You better her non pepe, now Unipano ejadakem. Yes, I bring nebusia for ye trace ye do noa anyhow. I know your idea me do when ye pa. Say, o ma date. Now o ma time 10 o'clock. Yeah, do one bit yasem. Now for you be drew her, now busia for ya beba na ya can sem you know. Mantiasie, nanso, a yabayasem, o ye den wakoka. Na ye de Unipa bejan da kemuno. Yibusa na say, the lawyer wa hen, was a lawyer ni lawyer to cry. A idea no so ha me busia. Na ye lawyer no sorry. Ekasai ekase na ebe ni den to mbusa busa na che se judge no ebusa edafufura ebetimi atu ahye dafi se no lawyer ni ho enti no lawyer no esre e ma judge no busai kwan yabo so a obenya date enti date no mo she 26 of this month ya na judge ni sre se omomode an se ebedu 26 no na lawyer wo ho se lawyer na ma ebegina so na aka asem no sesei omamo ya nyantie se omoboko break ama just October no ha no beba na e percent ka asem no e ba so tentem na so de adure de say omoko break bu so miensa na mo sa ba de a na che say asem no e che no.
The family is appealing to all relevant stakeholders to expedite the process to ensure justice is served as early as possible.
De bia me kasa me say asem no e cha na ejo enti mesre say yempese ombe hye mbre say yebedi asem na beduru ba bi no yebeduru ho no na asem na amaso no ebe ya busua na ya busua ye from de se de be ya dede anabasabasa bia manti yi ma adwo asie no enti yam pese basabasa besi bia enti no yesre atentere ne emrantem ebusua na yedi ya opa na emom se onipa na ya adwen se onfa lawyer ma yesre ya asem no omonka efi se ontimi nyi asem no moso saa Ghana no say lawyer ma ya yantimi ntwen yesre.
The case has been adjourned to 26th July 2023. For CNews, Fatih Amin Ibrahim, Kumasi High Court.
So the late Majwa, Victoria Dapa, was laid to rest on Saturday, June 24. But due to the family of the deceased is asking for justice.
Yeah, and they feel that the more this case drags along, the effect of the justice, even if granted at a later date, will not be the same, right? You can understand also the level of public interest in this particular case, because when the death of the lady came into the news, it was very shocking and very, very heart-wrenching at the time. And you could see that even with the court cases that have been happening every now and then, quite a number of people show up at the court wanting to follow this case keenly. My plea with the family is that these are really difficult times. This is a really trying time, but they should just take it easy and allow the rule of law to take its course. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, justice will prevail, and it will not bring back their loved one, or not bring back Majwa, as they call her, but it would, to an extent, assuage the pain that they are feeling. And in this time, it's only God that can comfort them in these really difficult moments. So they should take it easy. It can be very difficult, but just let's allow the law to take its course.
Take its course, rightly so. You're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV, still to come. 2 passengers in critical condition, while 55 others sustained minor injuries after 3 vehicles were involved in an accident at Gumwa-Ocherko Junction in the Central Region. And let's stay with us, we'll be back with more stories.
City TV is live on DSTV. Find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117. And on HD Plus, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV. City TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD Plus boxes. City TV, it's your world.
Many thanks for staying with us here on CNR Extra. Let's bring you some more stories. And 2 passengers are in critical condition, while 55 others have sustained minor injuries after 3 vehicles were involved in an accident at Gumwa-Ocherko.
2 passengers are in critical condition, while 55 others sustained minor injuries after 3 vehicles were involved in an accident at Gumwa-Ocherko Junction in the Central Region. The following report by our Central Regional correspondent, Calvis Tete, has more.
The accident occurred in the early hours of Wednesday, July 13, 2023, after 3 vehicles, including a foreign truck loaded with goods, were involved in an accident at Gumwa-Ocherko Junction. 2 passengers are in critical condition, while 55 others sustained minor injuries after the accident. The vehicles, a U-turn bus with registration number AS 850-21, an articulator truck with a foreign number plate 349HF01, and a Honda CRV with registration number GW 970-20 were all damaged. Police sources say all passengers in the U-turn bus were from Ho in the Volta region heading to Ivory Coast. Speaking to the media, driver of the Honda CRV, James Ni Ayi, indicated that the articulator truck engaged in wrongful overtaking, resulting in the accident. James Ayi says the U-turn bus hit the rear of his vehicle after engaging in a wrongful overtaking, resulting in the accident.
If you are crying, you say, "Oh, your friend, Ocherko." The meaning say, "Trailer be unity." Why overtaking? There was a metro man na obetrim. Nti metro ya na me hu say the metia ne bam. Bus no abebo me car na echi. Nti car no swingi wo kwan no so. And I call you other end. There was another trailer which was coming. It was no Jinai. So no engine like a mini mirror, I don't know. It's a mechanical ball, ne fuel tank, no engine. Into Ushe passenger side, the name Hona. Was a Honor, there's a scratch, the echo ball, trailer now, the engine. My name is wife. You see, I don't know, the Moja everything with him.
Some passengers on board the U-turn bus who survived the accident spoke to the media.
Plenty people are sleeping. I don't see anything. Everything are saying, Jesus, God. I wake up, I see the car in the bush. You see? Donc, we plenty people, you don't see anything.
This is a very sad one. Well, we've always been calling for government to dualize these roads, and as well way of driving and the long journey. In the reports there, they are moving from Ho to Ivory Coast. And maybe the driver, I don't know, but overtaking a number of factors when it comes to road accidents.
In May this year, on the last day of May this year, news broke out as to how a deadly accident involving a bus, and I think a gas tanker or so. At the time, it was reported that 16 people had died in the accident. But later, the National Road and Safety Authority came out and said it was 6 people that actually died in the accident, and it was gory, a very gory, fatal accident. And at the time, I quite recall Calvis, our Central Regional correspondent, interviewed some people who live along the road, and they mentioned that now they don't do any job. All they do is just hang around.
There. When there's an accident, they go and help.
They wait, and when there's an accident, they go and help.
Why should it be so?
And I'm wondering how have we allowed a very important road or area like Gomoa or Treko to become something of this sort? If you read a little around the town, you get to know that issues of land guardism is also rife over there, and I'm wondering how this has become a thing. It's quite unfortunate.
I think it's the road. The road is free when you're driving on it. That stretch is a very smooth stretch when you're driving. So there's tendency to the speeding and the overtaking. Our attitude as drivers, because the National Road Safety Authority can do all it can do all the campaigns, can talk, the Ministry of Roads and Highways can say whatever, but it now falls down on us as drivers to make sure that we keep security into our safety into our hands.
I mean, Philip, it's true because, like I said, the person Calvert spoke to during the previous accident mentioned the same thing. Yesterday on my the Total Energies Auto Show I host on CTFM, as part of the show, our safety share was to avoid road rage. And when we talk about road rage, it's basically reckless driving, tailgating, speeding, all of those things that will find you in a situation like this. So we understand that the Roads and Highways Safety Authority, the DVLA, Ministry of Roads and Highways, all the major stakeholders have a role to play. But so do drivers who have the steering wheels in their hands. They equally have the most important role to play in all of this, right? So let's keep safe on the road. Let's avoid all of those unnecessary speeding. And if you are tired, take a rest before you continue the journey.
So when you sit behind the steering wheel, safety should be key. Away from this story, President Akufo-Addo has paid tribute to the late author, that is Amma Ata Edu, as literary icon in state burial service.
State burial service, which was held in her honor at the forecourt of the State House in Accra. There is more in the following report filed by City News' Rachel Engman and read by Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
A state burial was held for the late renowned Ghanaian author, Professor Amma Ata Edu, at the forecourt of the State House in Accra. The solemn ceremony was graced by several dignitaries, including President Akufo-Addo, former President John Mahama, as well as family, friends, and sympathizers. Tributes poured in from loved ones, leaving all present in a state of deep reflection. The legend, who died on Wednesday, May 31, 2023, aged 81 after a short illness, is widely known for her immense contributions to African literature and also one of the continent's most influential feminists. Speaking at the funeral service on Thursday, President Akufo-Addo eulogized the late Professor Amma Ata Edu for her significant input to the development of Ghana and the African continent.
We're gathered here to celebrate this moment. Exceptional woman, knowledgeable teacher, famous poet, public servant, flawless storyteller, outstanding writer. She possessed an excellent mastery of the English language. Like many, I had heard about the news of the death of Amma Ata Edu with great sadness and sorrow. The community of writers has lost one of its greatest members, one who will be extremely difficult to replace. She was my contemporary in the 1960s at Ghana's premier university, the University of Ghana, Lagos. Even though she was 4 years older than me, she was someone with whom I enjoyed friendly and productive relations. Through her work, she made a tremendous contribution to the development of our country and continent and expressed so many of the feelings about our fate as Ghanaians and indeed as Africans.
Flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, shared his fondest memories of how the late playwright Amma Ataidu motivated him to write.
We've all known her as kids growing up, reading her works, but my closest encounter with her was when I published my own book, my first coup d'etat, and she came for the launch and then also visited my house where we held a reading party, and she encouraged me to write again, but I've not been able to put pen to paper yet, and so we are all sad at her passing. She was a very strong character and stood for women's rights, and so also for the African personality. And so we wish the family condolences.
Kina Likimani, daughter of the late author Amma Ataidu, paid an emotional tribute to her mother.
It was a peaceful morning and all was right with my world. A young man comes walking up William Amu, descends the driveway and stops by our patch. He's holding my mother's handbag. Instinctively, the child knows that something terrible has happened. Handbags are carried by mothers leaving the house. When your mother returns home, you rush to relieve her of the handbag. You are happy to see her, but you also know that a toffee, a chocolate, a sweet something lies in the bag. The young man says, Mommy has been in a car accident and is on admission at the Cape Coast Regional Hospital. Mommy's car's brakes had failed as she came down the Infantsipim Hill, and she had swerved into a wall to avoid running into pedestrians at the foot of the hill. Her right leg was broken in 3 places. An operation and then almost a year of recovery. In the years since, she would use crutches, canes, walkers, and then finally wheelchairs. My mother's need to write cost her something great.
May she rest in perfect peace. And Professor Amma Ataidu's contribution to the literary landscape have been widely celebrated, earning her numerous accolades throughout her career. She received the Commonwealth Writers' Prize for Best Book in Africa for her novel Changes in 1992. Additionally, she was honored with the prestigious Ghanata Award for Literature in 2018, recognizing the impact on the Ghanaian and African literature. Beyond her writing, Professor Edu was an educator and advocate for women's empowerment, and she also served as a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast in Ghana.
I mean, an absolute legend in every sense of the word, right? And her legacy definitely lives on. I've always said that these are people that are worth celebrating and should be celebrated.
Rightly so.
I hope her works will continue to live and outlive her time here on earth. But I mean, our deepest condolences to the family.
This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on CCTV. My name is Philip Nilata. I did this with Judy Mensah Duncan. Many thanks for your time as always, and keep watching CCTV.